in that intersection, actually, we're talking about the school of the future and those foundations, and we're seeing some trends around co-working and co-learning spaces coming together. So
Exactly.
how do we actually make that trend a foundation for those skills of the future? Do you see an environment where actually there's a whole change in the paradigm of education? It's no longer an actual school teaching what to learn, but entrepreneurs teaching kids and kids teaching entrepreneurs with different subjects or different skills. How do you see that combination and that those synergies?
Okay, another big question. All right, it's nonstop. How well? What you said is very relevant. Of course, the school model doesn't work the way it is. So
Mm,
even architecturally, it doesn't work. Um, just physically, it doesn't work.
mm,
Um, the So maybe the way to see how it should do, we should do. Maybe we should do how it doesn't work right now. I always start with the problems. For me, it's the base of all what I do. But just the physically part of the teacher in front of 30 students just doesn't work anymore. Okay,
mm,
so uh, the being in all the same classroom doesn't work as well. We're in a world where it's a flat world, right? We can, and even more today. Um, if we want to teach the world, we have to show the world, I think. So for me, everything should be connected to reality. Everything should be project-based learning. For me, 100%. So every single lesson should be associated with some kind of real case study exercise. Everything, and it should be associated with experience as well of the guide. We should not be even called a teacher anymore, and not only him but other people as well. And um, I mean, let's be realistic. I was in school. When I was in school, we were all from the same nationality because we were in the same space. We were in the same location. This doesn't make sense anymore. Knowledge was taken from one teacher because this teacher was here at that time. What about all the other millions of teachers that can add to a bit of like a bit of like the oh, the open source of teaching, right? Where knowledge will come from a bit everywhere to be able to get something right. This I believe in that entirely. Um, but yeah, reality for me, reality has to be present at all times. I was working on the because right now we're building this platform to guide entrepreneurs to build their businesses. And one of the biggest question for me, one of the biggest problematic, as it is for students, as it is for high school, as it is for us, anybody that's learning something, the biggest question is how much do we take from a lesson, right? And that's the biggest problematic, right? Because there's not a model that works really, really well. Lots of people are working on this. This is the biggest problematic of education. How do we going to make sure that kids or whoever is not going to only take 20% of what I say, but 80% or 90%, which is basically a big form of waste, all this time waste in classrooms. And lean is about that, right? It's about reducing waste. So, and I'm looking at the structure of the lessons, okay? And I've been working with people that work in education, that want to change education and stuff like that. How do we make sure that each lesson has the power to actually, transmit more, and so the student can actually take in more and apply it more to his own, project, business, experience, life, whatever. Uh, and what we end up not really, it's a work in progress and it's never going to stop, but it's that there should always be real projects within the lesson, always. And that actually people should work directly on something, on right in situ, working on a real project. And that makes sense because I think that we connect it to the brain connects it better when there's something, not only we actually apply it right now, so we're doing the exercise, but we actually as well see the reality of it. It's exactly like the quotes. Somebody was saying that the quotes, you don't remember quotes. Quotes are nice and everything, you don't remember it, but you do remember it when you connect it to the experience that happened. The person who said the quote explained the experience, or where does that come from? So, and that makes sense. So understanding the background of this, and I think the whole system should be based on that. I think everything we learn should be based on that. Now the actual format, physical format, I'm not sure. I don't have an idea, but I do know that the format as it is today doesn't work, and it just doesn't work. It's not, and we still, even if some schools think they are, doing things better and changing, and we still have a teacher with 20 students in front of them, with exams. I mean, come on, when do you ever get an exam in your real life? You don't get graded. Uh, when do you have a grade from your boss? You get evaluations. That's different. But evaluation is continuous. So all of this, I think it starts with all these problems, and from there we can try to resolve them.
Great.
Yeah, I don't have very much to add, Antoine. I mean, it's like you're summarizing what's in my head right now.
I think we all have. I think we all know this. That's what is scary, I think it's pretty scary because it's not a conversation that when I had this conversation with anybody, everybody said the same thing. We all on the same page, and that's what scares me a lot, and even more than now I have a daughter that it's not changing. Yes, there is change. There's people like you guys changing things and doing your work in this. Me on a small scale here and there. But what about the most important? What about the governments, right? What about the public schools? How long are we going to take to change that? It's going to take, the way it's going, we're going to take like, the world is going to be, imagine what the world is going to be in 20 years. I mean, seriously. And we still have the same layout of schools everywhere. And this is scary because we all know this. It's not something that we are like, wondering if this is working or not. We know it's not working. Everybody says it. And that's scary. That's very scary.